The secret of getting ahead is getting started. Mark Twain. Starting a new thing is scary. It is taking your first shaky-legged steps into a crowded elevator going up to the 16th floor of your first adult job. Starting anew is learning to be single after many long years of comfort in a mismatched relationship. It's walking into the gym for the first time at 400 pounds or 100. It is quitting vaping, graduating college, and getting laid off out of the blue. New beginnings are a heavy boulder in your brand new living room, which you'd very much like to move, but have no idea how. If you have ever wanted something, it is because something was standing in your way. If you've ever achieved anything, it's because you overcame an obstacle. Open up your streaming platform of choice on your smart TV and throw a dart at it. I'll wager you'll hit a story that depicts this platitude on 3 out of 3 throws. This is one of the great tensions of humanity. Stagnating in the cozy comfort of our couches, rotting in our routines, or donning those dusty gym shoes to charge onward through that glaring glass door. I am scared to make this video, and then more videos afterwards. I'm scared that if I make one video, and another, I might stop there. I'm anxious that I will give up on this, as I have given up on so many other things. And as I type this, I get a flash of the pacifying fright that lets you leave the boulder in the living room for your whole life. The task, so insurmountable, will surely end in failure, so why even try? But of course, if you haven't begun, it will surely seem that way. And if the boulder got into the living room, surely you must be able to get it out. So you tie your tie, dry your tears, build a job application robot, and step out into the great, terrifying unknown. And again, the next day and the next. The wheels on the bicycle turn, your dad lets go, and with a whoosh and a breath of relief, you are in motion. One of the many things I find myself revisiting in life is art, and the visual variety of art, and as you could probably tell from the slapdash lettering on the squares in front of you, I'm not much for arts and crafts, but it's fun to try sometimes, and I'm basically just making a tier list right here. So I think that you might be able to telegraph where this video is going. Alright, today we are going to do a tier list of all of the running shoes that I own. Some of which I have run in recently, and some of which I have not run in a while. Hi, Hawk! Are you going to be on the running shoe video? Yes, you are. Yeah, I'm your strider. So which one should we start with, boys? Alright, New Balance Pulse version 1. This is the only one. There's only one version. This is a shoe that didn't really come to the American market until somewhat recently, as far as I know, because I didn't get it until, or even hear of it until it was on Joe's New Balance outlet for $80. So it was a crazy deal. No, sorry, $70, no tax. And I'm not really sure how they do that, legally speaking, but I didn't pay any tax, unless they just like bake it in. I'm sure Joe's New Balance outlet is a legal organization, and I love them. They sent me these, and the idea behind these shoes, they're racing flat, so they're really flat, 2 mil drop, I believe 17 mil a stack in the heel, so 15 in the forefoot. And what am I using these for? Actually, glad you asked, daily mileage. And so with that said, do I like them? Where do they fall on the tier list? It's a really good question. Like for me, I actually really like these. I think they are snappy, extremely firm, so totally not for everybody. You might feel a rock occasionally.
But for me, they're like a solid A tier shoe. And yeah, that's New Balance Pulse. Keeping it rolling here. I have like just shoes coming out of my ears. Go with something I guess maybe is a little similar, definitely a different purpose, but could be used for the same thing. Adidas Takumi Sen 10. I really like these, the way they look. They're, you know, super aesthetic. And I don't remember the stack on them. It's the Takumi Sen 10. There's plenty of information out there about it. Energy rods, Light Strike Pro. What's not to love? Well, I'll tell you, narrowness in the forefoot. I have a pretty narrow foot. These tend to hurt my extensor tendon pretty bad on my right foot. It's a common thing for me with many shoes. And I won't ding it too hard for that because it is so common. And again, this list, right, this is just my personal opinion and feelings on these shoes. Doesn't reflect the shoes. Tons of people absolutely love these. And they are responsive, they're snappy, they're fun, they're quick, they're really quick. Quicker than the New Balance Pulse, that's for sure. So with the pain that it caused me and the fact that I was only able to put maybe like 60 miles on them before I really stopped to slow down using them, probably a B tier. And I know that sounds pretty generous, but it is so fast. Whenever I put those on, I just like whip, you know? So something that I've been using a lot lately, Hoka Cielo X1, it's full stack, but with the overstacked midsole. When I first got these, I actually really didn't love them. The laces were coming undone. The upper is just straight up weird. All things that many people have covered in many reviews. But over time, I mean, and even just holding them, I don't typically hold my shoes this close to my face. They do not smell good at all. And that's probably something to do with the knit upper, but I mean, it's not how they smell, it's how they run. And I've been running all of my longer days, not all of my longer days, but a good percentage of them in the Cielo X1. And the midsole, they're my Kaboinga shoes. They're so bouncy. They're so easy to just go and go and go and go. And I mean, if you treat them like an actual, you know, race day racing shoe, you're not gonna love them. But people already know that. And so their expectations going into the shoe should be that, you know, it's a good long run shoe, great long run shoe. To put it in a category, it's really hard. I think it's another A tier shoe. Have a feeling that A tier is gonna fill up really quickly. So another shoe that fulfills the same purpose for a lot of people, Prime X Strung 2, not the OG, the 2. I absolutely had to replace the laces with these, I forget the actual brand name, I think it's Caterpie laces. These laces are pretty good if you have a sensitive foot to like lace bite and have a hard time dialing in your fit. These are really nice laces. They secure by having these like bubbles, and they're stretchy. It's an elastic lace. So probably these won't last forever if you use them all the time. But for now, the bubble catches in the eyelet, and then I like them. I don't really use them unless a shoe is giving me significant problems, which the Prime X Strung 2 gave me significant problems. They're like just shredding the top of my foot with the stock laces, which I have on another pair of shoes that I'll grab in a second. But I only put around like 50, maybe even less than 50 miles on these. Granted, during the winter, so I might take them out one more time, but these are earmarked for a friend. I hate them. It's not just the lace bite, it was the fact that my big toe just constantly slammed into the top of the shoe, the front of the shoe. So responsible for at least one black toenail that I could remember. And yeah, other than that, I mean, midsole feel, right? Fantastic. It's Lightstick Pro. It has a nice plate. I run in a lot of Adidas shoes, thought I would like them, got them on a crazy discount for like 120 bucks. So it was worth picking them up to try out. Sucks that they didn't work for me. They will work for people. I have to take that into account. So I'm gonna go with D tier. So where do the laces go on those, you might ask? Evo SL, but these ones are dirty and gross. So I'm gonna get my other pair, which should tell you that I really like this shoe. Yeah, it's a good question. So the midsole, we'll start there. Absolutely fantastic. Between these two pairs of shoes, I have pushing 500 miles on them cumulatively. This pair has about 110, maybe 120. And at first I loved them. And they are such fast threshold, like speed demon, daily trainer, bouncy, phenomenal rocker, just pulls you forward and forward and forward and forward and nonstop. Nonstop shoes, relentless shoes, love them. Hate them also, really mixed feelings about them. The laces, Adidas is, well known in the running shoe community for making clearly the cheapest and worst laces. And why? I often wonder, is it like, actually, is there a reason? Is there how much per set of laces per unit does it cost Adidas? Would it amount to the money they're gonna lose on tariffs? Is that how much money good laces cost? I have no idea. I'm merely asking questions. That's not the whole reason. And I didn't get lace bite except for at the very front, like the top, because the tongue is so short. But overall, I didn't really get lace bite. What I did get was the middle eyelets, like not just the midfoot eyelets, but the forefoot eyelets as well, like the whole, like second, third, and fourth eyelet chain across the top didn't really pull the upper all the way forward or all the way to wrap my foot in these. And so it's extremely sloppy. And I don't really have pronation issues, but on my right foot, I do tend to strike more laterally. And this just for whatever reason wants me to roll my ankle or like overcorrect and come inwards. It's like really unstable, but not in the foam, even though the foam is a little bit jiggly, right? Because there's only the midfoot shank in there to keep it stabilized. But I don't know what it is about the fit. It's weird. It's a weird fit. It's worse on my right foot than my left foot. That's typically the case with any shoes. I've ranted about this one. I feel a lot of ways about it, but I cannot give it higher than a B tier. That's a shocker to a lot of people. But that it is, but one Adidas shoe that I didn't have that problem with, Adios 9. If you just took the upper from the Adios 9 and put it on the Evo SL, that would be the best shoe. I would run in pretty much only that forever. But I don't actually need to, because the Adios 9, despite being lower stack, which actually really works for me, is a phenomenal shoe. It is light, fast. The upper is comfy, like literally comfy. Still, Adidas 1 cent laces, so it's a little like whatever. It's just the character of the brand. I like the way they look. I like the way they bounce. And since I'm such a low stack preferred person in the first place, doesn't affect anything negatively for me. That's even a positive. So, this is brutal. A tier shoe. All right. Moving on. Yeah, what do we do next? The Vibrant Five Fingers. I just said I was a minimalist. I like low stack shoes, right? Right? Well, I haven't run in these since high school, so I can't actually give you all that much of an opinion on them. And they're frankly falling apart. I just kept them as a souvenir of the good old days of the barefoot running craze. These aren't really shoes. They're like elaborate socks. And so my younger self would slap me across the face for what I'm about to do. These are an F tier sock. Now this is a shoe that I haven't run in almost as long. Nike Streak Fly, the OG, the first Streak Fly. I have not tried the second Streak Fly. That is a shoe that I don't know if I could justify spending $180 on, but I might. Let me know if you want me to do that. I will. I need any excuse to buy that, but I really love these. I think they were great, fast, very bouncy. It was my first and only experience with ZoomX other than in stores trying them on, but you'll notice that I have different laces on these. And I'm trying to find the laces that came with these are the sawtooth laces that I put on the Cielo X1 because the stock laces on those were just not worth my effort. And it wasn't even, they had a colorway that had really bad laces and they replaced those really bad laces with like only just bad laces. And so since I'm running a lot of miles in these right now, they're like around probably 150 miles right now, and still going pretty much twice a week, that I had to put real good laces on them. So these came from a shoe that I don't even have anymore, the Ultra Escalante, and they're okay. But the Streak Fly is a great shoe for running fast. It is not a super fast shoe because it's a little bit unstable. The ZoomX in this, I've been told, is not exactly the same ZoomX, and there is like an image going around on Reddit that showed the ZoomX in this blown up to a different or microscopically blown up, so you could see the differences in the chunks of like particulates of the foam, and it certainly was a bit different than ZoomX from, I believe it was compared to the Alpha Fly. And I didn't know that at the time. This was really bouncy, and then like 100 miles in, it was completely flat. And not just flat, right? So there's a midfoot shank in here. It wasn't flat in the shoe, in the whole shoe, just in the forefoot. So it went from being moderate stack, I think these were like 6 or 4 or somewhere in that range, between 6 and 4, and now it feels like a 30 millimeter drop. Like literally all of the forefoot foam compressed and none of the heel foam compressed. And I think that's just my foot strike, especially in these. I must have been striking it in the forefoot more, but I can't even like wear these anymore. So it's a durability concern. Great ride. Not like the most comfortable shoes, but yeah, I would say due to the durability, it really comes down to the durability on these. I would say C tier. All right. New Balance Rebel V4. There's a lot of buzz around the Rebel V5 coming out, and I got this pair also from Joe's New Balance outlet. Shout out to them for coming through. And I got these on a steep discount, it's like $100, and they're actually my second pair. Got my other pair right here. I think these might be one of my favorite daily trainers that I've ever run in. I absolutely love them. A lot of the negatives that people have said about them are true, right? Feels flat in the forefoot. The foam The other pair died out around 150 to 200 miles in, right? These are, even already kind of starting to feel flat, the second pair. But the first pair I wore as walking around shoes for the next year. Like, those are old. And I just love the way that I could keep going and going in these. There's nothing uncomfortable about it. I did actually on this pair get some of the heel chafing that people talk about, like the Achilles. There's a little bit of a scratchiness back there. But I switch socks. It doesn't bother me. They just let you run. They're so simple. They're simple shoes. They just let you get out there and pound pavement and live your best running life. And for that, they're going in the A tier, if there's room. Da-da-da. Okay. Next up, Metaspeed Edge Paris. I have almost literally nothing bad to say about these. When I first got them, I had some issues with my pinky toe rubbing along this. There's you're not gonna be able to see it on camera, but there's a underlay right under the mesh and it's plasticky. And it's plasticky, but it sort of just rubbed against my pinky a little bit when I first got it. I switched socks. Part of, I think, some of my issues with a few of the shoes that I mentioned along the way have been due to I primarily wear Injinjis because they're extremely comfortable for daily mileage and for just wearing for me, like my daily use case of putting on socks. I don't like the little strip of seam that's on every sock. It catches in my toenails. I feel it on my toes. And in normal socks, you get sweaty. So I really like toe socks. I've only really ever tried Injinji, but they're good. I like them. They don't have enough of the ankle pad on the heel of them, and also they push your toe. For this specific case, they push my toes out to the side on the shoe too much, and that caused the rubbing, right? So I fixed that, and I've run a marathon PR and a half marathon PR in these shoes. They're bouncy, they're fast, they're light, they're everything that you want in a race day shoe. The lockdown in particular, one of the recurring themes of running for me is that I have a hard time with heel lockdown on my right foot. My right foot is the problem foot in all areas except for the pinky toe rubbing, ironically. But the lockdown in this is just top notch. I could single knot them. They have the sawtooth laces. These are very close to the best, if not the best. You know what? Nope, they are the best shoe that I've ever run in. S tier, easily. The reason I hesitated on that is Adios Pro 3. And you'll notice there's no laces in these. I don't even know what happened to the original laces, but they tried to kill me. And so I think they're somewhere at the bottom of the ocean. Before I had no laces in these, I actually had the Streak Fly laces in these. So it'll tell you how good the laces were from the Streak Fly. And I'm assuming also the Alpha Fly, though I've never owned it. But yeah, these have been through the most miles out of any of my shoes by a lot. I tore them to shreds in the outsole, and it's not out of the question for me to pick these back up and run in them again. The grip is getting really bad, so I don't know how safe it would be for me to run in these again. And also they don't have laces, so it'd be a little bit of an effort. I love these. I mean, I didn't really have as much of the issue with the upper that a lot of people did in the forefoot. like with the toe knuckle and whatever. The lacing system was stupid. It was really stupid, and it made it hard to get a secure lockdown. I mean, the most fiddly shoe you'll ever use just to dial it in. And I don't know, I got heel lift in my right foot pretty much every run. But they were my first marathon shoes. They have an outsole that just boing, 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 boings you along, and also promotes a strangely perfect foot strike for me. Like I'm mid to forefoot, and these just facilitated that effortlessly and had great grip over the course of their life until like they didn't. They're still even runnable, even though this is completely slick at this point. Like the last run that I did in these was last year at some point, but it was, I remember it was wet out. It was like winter and it was wet and slippery, and I still wasn't sliding very much despite having pretty much no grip. These are like over 500 miles. And I loved them. They were my first favorite shoe, so they're also gonna get an S tier. All right, one for the books over here. Saucony Kinvara 15? I wanna say it's the 15. These are now my Yardwork shoes, and they're really comfy. I can wear them without laces. They just slip right on. I had them for, I think I put like 150 to 200 miles in them. I really liked them. It's hard to say anything bad about them. I mean, Saucony tends to fit narrow in the forefoot, but it didn't really bother me that much. The foam started to get pretty darn firm, which is why I retired them. And I think I retired them gradually, where I just started wearing them around to walk because they were already at the front door and they were easy to slip on. And one thing about these that I haven't mentioned with any of these shoes is slip-onableness. It's not something that'll, make or break a shoe for me, but the ability to put your shoe on without having to tie it, that's a rare trait in a shoe. But it's standard EVA. They're boring. They're lower stack, which works really well for me. But even with that, they were boring. And I might, if I could find another pair of these when they go on sale for like $50, I'll probably pick up another pair of them. But until that point, I would say a solid B tier. All right. Final shoe, tier, Valkyrie, Speedworks, not the Carbon. This is a strange one for me. These seem to be pretty indestructible. I don't know exactly how many miles. This is before I've really even tried to track my shoes, and they never were like a primary shoe. So a lot of the ones that I'm estimating up here are really good estimates because they were like the only shoe I was running in for a period of time. But these I have been mixing in intermittently here and there. So I think if I had to guess, it would be like about 150 on them. And you could tell they've been through the mill a little bit, but they're not damaged in any way. The tread is still going strong. They're really durable. And it's beaded PIBA. I believe it's the same PIBA that's in some of the Saucony shoes, the beaded, whatever their beaded PIBA compound is. I should learn my foams. And I think it's really good. It's firm, right? So if you don't like a firm shoe, not gonna like it. But it's firm, it's bouncy, it's fast. Not the fastest shoe that I've tried, not the slowest shoe. I did actually have a little bit of toe rubbing on this. This is another shoe that did it on my left foot where the pinky toe would rub, but not to the degree that the Edge Paris did before I fixed it. But the laces, not my favorite. They're like a little too stretchy for my liking, so I do really have to crank it down, which could mean that I have to stop and like readjust it if my foot starts to go numb, which does happen sometimes in these, so I'm not always reaching for them. And the biggest issue with these that I've found is the heel collar is so rigid, like super rigid, and I'm not used to that on shoes. I think this is the most rigid heel counter that I've, out of all the shoes that are here, right? This is easily the most rigid. I mean, the Evo SL has a pretty rigid one, but it's padded, and this isn't like padded enough to like make up for how stiff it is, and so it like constricts the ankles and it's almost like a stability feature if you're into that sort of thing. But I'm a fairly neutral runner, and it was hindering more than helping. But the lockdown was really good, right? And so, I still reach for these sometimes if I just am in a mood where I want to rip without thinking of foot placement, just go for a run. I really like the foam in this. It's good foam. I have to ding it though for the heel issue. I would say B tier for sure. So I didn't have any idea of how the distribution was going to play out before doing this. This is an exercise that was pretty much for me, and to know what type of shoes that I like running in, so I could learn more about myself and do it in a way that's trendy on the internet, so that you guys could all enjoy a format that you know and love. My dogs have enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.